Hi, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Try Not to Grin, or maybe shake. No, probably Try Not to Grin. So, welcome back. Today we are going to be jumping back onto the hellscape that is Reddit, and also going to be seeing a Reddit that I'm curious what this video will be because of the Reddit that we're going to go check out. And essentially, today we're going to be checking out the AmItheAsshole Reddit. Which is essentially a forum, like a Reddit forum, where people are basically asking the internet, was I a dickhead in this situation, or was I justified in my behavior, action, whatever. So that should be rather interesting. Let me see if they have any good way of describing it. A catharsis for the frustrated moral philosopher in all of us, and a place to finally find out if you were wrong. Tell us about any non-violent and etc. stories, just so we're not getting too in the busy work. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is one that I've been wanting to check out for a hot minute. But at the same time, I'm also a little worried because shit can be a little rough. We're going to go to the top voted posts, and we're going to do it on this year. Because I imagine this is going to ignite my brain in a whole kind of way. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, together as a community. And also, please comment if I was like way off on something or if I was missing something entirely. This is basically the rants we go on our other videos that we film with Trying to Grins. But that is the video. So hopefully we can find some gold here and also find ourselves centered within our understanding of how we perceive things and how maybe others perceive things as well. But ladies and gentlemen, let's start with this one. Sure. Actually, let me read through them and see if I can find a good one, and not one that's going to get me in a whole heap of trouble. Weird. I don't know if I like this one, but let's jump in. Okay. Am I the asshole for telling my wife the lock on my daughter's door does not get removed till my brother-in-law and his daughter are out of our house? First glance, I think it depends on all the variables. Why the hell, so she can't leave her room, or that she can get away from other people? My brother-in-law, Sammy, lost his home shortly after the divorce. He moved in with us, brought his two twin daughters. His sister, which is my wife, and I have one daughter, who's 16. They get along fine, supposedly. Her cousins, which is the sisters and her. The two 18-year-old girls have no respect for her privacy. They used to walk into her room and take everything they get their hands on. Makeup, phone, accessories, clothes, school laptop, etc. Zoe complained a lot, and I've already asked the girls to respect Zoe's privacy. My wife and Sammy saw no issue. What? Fuck these people. My wife and Sammy, which is her brother, saw no issue with this. After all, they're girls, and this is typical teenage girls' behavior. I completely disagree. My man, this is a good dad. Hell yes, especially when you're in your developmental years, deserves some sort of privacy, whether because you're dealing with a lot and you're also coming into your own person. Also, the fact that people are coming in and just completely destroying your boundaries is a big bad thing, and it seems like both the brother and the sister never had said boundaries in their household, which I don't think is a good thing. Anyways, last straw was when Zoe, his daughter, bought a $60 makeup kit, I guess, that looked like a paint set, and she saved up for over a month. And one of the girls, one of the teenage girls, took it without permission and ruined it by mixing shades together while using it. Listen guys, I'm a man, yes, but even I know that's fucking trash ass behavior, right? It's like a girl going on to your Steam account and uninstalling all the games you fucking play and not knowing how long it's gonna take to fucking reinstall, except it's even worse. Anyways, this dude is I'm loving it, because he's very much this is regardless of what you think, this is fucked up. This is, not only did my daughter work her ass off to get something, but now we're teaching her that, yeah, you know how you saved and saved and saved? Yeah, it doesn't matter because it's all pointless anyway. It's no. The boundary of you being able to keep what is yours is a fair boundary to do, especially if you worked hard to attain it. If you've bought it, then yes, it's partly in your realm to do that, but even still, you should probably still, if you're giving it to someone, then you're giving it to them. You're not giving it with the expectation that you still control it. But the fact that the mom isn't even yeah, that's fucked up. Oh yeah, our our daughter who worked her ass off or something. Yeah, fuck it. Just let them be. It's like the same thing as like a person being like, boys will be boys. And when a fucking son comes home with a black eye from his cousin beating the fuck out of him. And they're like, whatever. It's like the same shit. Like, what are you doing? Your kid's in trouble. Like, don't know much about makeup. But what Zoe said when she found the kit on her bed and was crying, I told my wife, and she said, ask Sean to apologize, but I got Zoe a lock after I found she was moving valuable belongings out the house because of this incident. Sammy and his daughters saw a lock and weren't happy. The girls were extremely upset. Sammy asked about it, and I straight up told him. He said, my daughters aren't thieves. It's normal that girls of the same age borrow each other's stuff. He said Zoe could easily got another makeup kit for $15. Oh, I'm fucking mad. Bucks for the Walmart and shouldn't even be buying expensives. Oh, I'm gonna throat punch this motherfucker. I'm so mad just reading it. Oh my god. You're in his fucking house. Whatever rules he wants to set for your fucking shitty ass should follow it. Even if you don't make any sense to your head. Also, it's not your place to tell him how to raise a fucking child. If he wants to teach her the value of saving and buying nice things if she saves for it and it's her money, and then your fucking shitty kids come and buy it, you completely... Oh my god, I hope this guy just fucking destroyed him. But I know it didn't, because I can clearly tell the dad's like, I'm getting outnumbered here. My wife isn't even with me with this one. My wife is still like, no, it's just how girls are. So he must feel outnumbered, but he's still like, I'm on my kid's team. You may not be, but I'm on my kid's team. I'm gonna give her a lock on her room, all right? Adult makeup in the first place, and suggested my wife take care of this defect in Zoe's personality, trying to appear older than she is. Accused me of being overprotective and babying Zoe with the level of that level of enablement. Oh, I'm just mad. This is what this writer does to you, where you're just like, I am done. I'm so done with this rat. This rat named whatever the hell his name is. Sammy the fuck. Anyways, God. Again, not only is this just a complete and this is, to me, it was where, like, I think there is a huge thing where, like, I know the mom, what do you call it, is basically the sister of the brother. So there's this thing here. But this is where, like, I think it's not even, it'd be like, you'd have to talk to your wife and be like, this is wrong on so many levels, and if you don't back me the fuck up, we're gonna have a massive problem, because I believe this is so wrong that the fact that you aren't behind me on it is meaning there is some significant shit in both of your heads, that this is just completely unreasonable, which maybe is why the guy came here, because I was like, am I off here? Is this what girls should do? And even if some girls do it, I do not think this is the expectation of what most, even not girls, just family things. Everyone should be able to have a place where they feel like they're safe, and their things are their things, and to be able to, like, say that when I buy something for me, it is mine, especially when they work hard to do it. It's not on you to moderate where they eventually find value. What is wrong with a person liking makeup, even if at a young age? If she's putting on makeup and then trying to, like, get guys or something, then sure, that's a conversation, but that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about a girl just liking the women who look pretty and putting on makeup as well. It's like, it's weird. It's just also fucking tremendously thought. Also, the main root of all this, regardless of how you want to talk to parenting, the fact that this guy is staying under your roof and has the even slightest level of audacity to think that he can talk to you like this when you're like, you are being housed under my roof, I would be beyond mad. I would be like, you're leaving tomorrow. Eat shit. Like, fuck. But I know it's because his wife it's basically her little brother or whatever, so of course she's not going to be okay with that. But to me, it's still just like, there's got to be some big dick energy being thrown around from our husband, from the family, which seems like he is, but also not really. He's still just saying, like, oh, like, because all this is gonna do with the teenage girls is they're just gonna find a way to, like, sneak in there. They're gonna make her feel bad for locking it. They're going to retaliate because the door is locked by taking things or ruining things even more, which is wild. And clearly, the dad, or sorry, the brother is not disciplining his children or giving them like boundaries of what they're not allowed to do, which is wild, absolutely wild. Maybe it's because they're twins, right? Because he said there's twin daughters, yeah. So maybe their twins are super like, yeah, we just trade things back and forth, but that doesn't mean you can ruin things, like, you know that. Ugh. I told him that's between me and my wife, but she shamed me for putting a lock on Zoe's door from her cousins to see and prevent them from spending time with her, saying I was supposed to treat them like daughters. Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? Why the fuck are you That's just wild. It's one thing to treat them like family, but it's also like, no, honey, that's our blood. that's what we made, all right? Unless we have control over them, then that we can only do so much. We can only offer love. but like, I can shape this. This is my person. This is my job to not make a shitty human. He's clearly not going to allow me to discipline or like give boundaries or structure to his kids. So why the fuck should I pretend that I'm doing that for, or why should I do that to my daughter for him? It doesn't make any sense. God, this lady got the fucking nerve. Anyways, also, like, you're the fucking mom. You're supposed to have your daughter's back. Usually this is the other way, where the dad's like, I don't get it. What's the problem? She wants boundaries? I didn't have any boundaries. My door was always open because my dad was like, no, you know? And the woman's like, yeah, but that sucked. I didn't get a feel. I just left the house. I basically just like ran out the window and I stayed in like shitty, drug-infested skate parks because I just didn't have any place that was mine, so I made a place outside of a house, which is dangerous. Anyways, have no kids, have no wife, just doing my best to rationalize my position. Anyways, but then the wife demanded I remove it, but I said this lock does not get removed till her brother and her daughters are out of the house. Let's keep reading before I jump in. She's got mad. I was implying we kick them out and said her family will hate me if for this, so I reminded her that I let Sammy and his family move in, which is something her own family refused to do, so she should start with shaming / blaming them for not taking in their own son and nieces and granddaughters. If it wasn't for her family's unwillingness to help, we wouldn't be dealing with this much disimbalance in the home. Everyone's been giving me and Zoe silent treatment, and my wife is very much upset over this. My guy, oh my god, King, stay strong, my dude. This is some next level. This is why so by the way, I sorted by year. So this is one of the big poobas of the year, which is clearly this day, like, yes, fuck all these people. Except for the husband and the daughter, which 100% deserves boundaries. Anyways, but yeah, man, that is brutal. And again, it just keeps rubbing me the wrong way, where it's like that the mom is supposed to be like. Actually, no, that being said, though, I know a lot of families where the dad is the daughter's, like, BFF, because he's like, yeah, why the fuck shouldn't she have, like, maybe it's because it's, like, daddy's girl or whatever. Like, there's this, like, need to protect the person. But shit, to me, again, it's just, like, a complete disregard from the wife and from the brother who is sitting underneath any rules that he gives should be valid rules. Otherwise, you'd be sleeping on the fucking, like, the fucking outside, you know? Just wild. And the fact that, like, I wonder what the reason the family would have for not wanting to take them in either. Maybe because they know that it would not be good for anybody involved. Because of spoiling or because of lack of discipline or boundaries. Honestly, not even discipline, just boundaries. The idea that, like, yes, it's cool to spend time with one another, but in my family, we were always allowed our rooms. We were always allowed this, like, place where we could come, decompress, and be fine. We had locks on our doors, too. It was just, if our parents knocked, you better fucking open the door. That was it. And if you didn't, then the lock's probably going to come off. But that was it. Because again, it's important that you have privacy and that you know your boundaries are being respected and whatnot. But let's see what other people say, because this to me just has me gassed out. Especially with, like, there was good reasons. Also, there's no, like, just because, like, what is the brother's reasoning, by the way? It was something like, but they can't spend time with each other. The fuck that they can't. All it means is that it secures her room. It secures their valuables. It's almost like, yeah, like if they didn't show themselves to ruin a expensive thing that the other person made work really hard to get, then yes, absolutely. Like I could see that they're being like, wait until something bad happens, but also it's not a bad thing to say, well, why don't we just prepare for a rainy day? You know what I mean? Especially like you're in no place to be making demands or judgments on a person who you are massively benefiting from. Anyways, let's find the thing. Be civil. A moderator is like, dude, I'm gassed up too, but let's calm down, boys. We gotta relax. Jeez Louise. Is this made by the same person? No, it's not. Okay. NTA, don't back. What's NTA mean? I don't know. Don't back down. You are the only one that's sticking up. I was about to say, yeah, your daughter is gonna feel like she's against the wall, or like she is the daughter, but isn't. It's like she's being undervalued for her cousins, which I'm sure is already a thing. If they're already twins, they already seem like they have like a great relationship and they have like safety in numbers to some extent. And especially if they're not like incredibly close, then that's definitely the way she probably feels. If her cousins want to use expensive makeup, give them your wife's. That's a good thing too. I guarantee she won't appreciate sharing anymore. Yeah. They need to start behaving like guests. I was about to say like a guest. Like it's not like you're living here, bitch. This is bullshit. I think there's so many elements to this story that just makes me fucking furious. Like, it's just it's the wife's like reasoning for things, and it's also the disrespect on the brother's behalf, where I'm just like, dude, this would be the shit that would like, I would be like, there's certain things where divorce just seems like a lot, you know what I mean? Where it's just like, yeah, you guys are just having like arguments back and forth. This is one of those things where it's like, something is in your mind is not firing. Like some sort of trauma or like some sort of shitty growing up life experience has ruined you, okay? Do you think this is acceptable behavior? I love this idea, says people. OP, you have your daughter's back and totally got her needs for privacy and autonomy. I was about to say, for her own stuff. Yeah, exactly. Also, again, that's another thing. The fact that she worked to like pay for something expensive, and then that the lesson is, yeah, it doesn't matter how hard you work, other family members will destroy that thing. I wonder how close she's going to be with her cousins when she learns that lesson. It's silly. I'm disgusted, that her own mother isn't more supportive. Yeah, please lend some mother's makeup to her twins, because obviously it's what the girls do. Yeah, but that's not the problem. I'm sure if the mom gave the thing, the like makeup, the girls would be treated because she's an authoritarian figure. And also, the twins are older. The 18-year-old twins are older than the little girl. So clearly they're gonna. Also, I'm sorry, guys. Even ladies agree with me on this. When girls are young, they're fucking brutal. They're fucking, especially when dealing with like younger siblings, they're fucking brutal. Unless you got like a really good parental figure that's like, no, you're family. You take care of each other. You look out for each other. If you don't, you're gonna get eaten up by the world. Unless you have that kind of reinforcement as a kid, most people were like, she's annoying, get her away from her. How can we use her to benefit from our thing? And this is also found in dudes. I just find with women, it's a little more ruthless. But that could just be my bias. Bonus, if OP goes into Sammy's room and borrows things without asking. Unwear, expensive watch. Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah. This is a great philosophy thing where it's just like, just put the shoe in the other foot and see if you like it. You know what I mean? It's like, what are we doing here? Lol, returns the underwear that you borrow with stains. Man, I never met with you. All right, we spent a lot of time reading that one, but that one was crazy to me. Yeah, just the notion of like, first of all, you can't fucking, they hurt a pallet, like they broke the pallet. That's a big thing. Also, they're guests. Like there's a couple like pillars that just have me gassed. One of them is the fucking that they're guests. Okay, the second that we found out is that they're like, they have no other options, guests. So you think they'd be fucking cordial, but I guess not. Secondly, the guy has the gall to tell you how to raise your children while he is divorced, living in your house. And the fact that like the mom doesn't value the girl's privacy is absolutely fucking mad. And that she doesn't understand the value that a kid working for something, attaining it, and then having it be destroyed, just destroys the person's identity of self-worth. Also, the fact that there is a fucking massive age difference with the one girls, 18 to 16, is an insane thing. I've never known an 18-year-old to respect the opinion or thought of a 16-year-old. I'm sorry, not in that age bracket. You're fucking juiced with puberty, and you're just not in that state. I apologize. I just have never met that person. So yeah, there's clearly a thing here. Also, they've shown themselves to not care. They've just walked into her room and taken her things without even asking. So clearly. Anyways, also her things, or the school's things. So they don't even, it's not even that they don't respect her, it's that they don't respect the school, yeah. And the wife's just like, yeah, fuck it. And I'm just like, yeah, but you're supposed to look at them like daughters. Well, are they sure is she not looking at me like a dad? or yeah. God, Jesus, it's stupid shit. Anyways, let's try to burn through one more because we spent such a long time talking about one. Let's see what this is. Let's see what it's all about. This one seems like a little more in the middle. Well, I thought the other one could have been potentially in the middle too, because I thought it was like, oh, are you trying to keep your daughter locked in, or are you trying to keep people locked out? Anyways, am I the asshole for announcing that my dad's not paying my college tuition? Let's find out the context. Generally speaking, I think maybe, but if he's posturing to be like, yeah, like he's pretending that he is, then yeah, it's a fucking nightmare. My aunt and uncle are paying for my cousin's college. My dad had a college fund for me. Okay, but he had a stipulation, like he wanted nothing below a B for grades and to pre-approve any class I take. A weekly meeting to discuss grades and a bunch of other stuff, which would be fine if you had a normal dad. Mine isn't. Okay, so my dad had a temper. You spent the 6th to 12th grade being stressed out of your mind because your dad was screaming in your face because you didn't get good test grades. Even for stuff that wasn't your fault, like the teachers not updating the website for your grades, all that stuff, and assignments being missing because of it, okay. And getting my backpack randomly searched by him for no reason besides to make sure I'm not hiding anything. Again, a person who doesn't respect boundaries, turns out all that does is make people need boundaries. So if you don't give them boundaries, they're gonna find a way to make them and get better at hiding them and become more deceptive and give you even less. So you give people boundaries, they tend to show you what's in the boundaries. You take away, if you don't give anyone boundaries, they'll hide the boundary because everyone needs boundaries. I decided to pay for school myself because of 1, not being stressed out over getting screamed at. Fair. 2, I didn't feel like constantly worrying that he disapproved of the classes or grades and decided not to pay, which I could totally see him doing. I'd rather be in debt than controlled for over 4. I was about to say, I started off thinking this like, okay, well, I mean, you're not in, like, with the dad's pretext of like, I will pay for it if you abide by my rules. I'm sure this guy would also agree, yeah, it's fair, if his rules weren't like dogmatic to the point in which juice ain't worth the squeeze. Sorry, ain't worth the squeeze. I'd rather work off the debt and enjoy my life than to have this overarching my head. And then, yeah, especially considering, like, to me, the fact that you have a person, which seemingly does have like a college, like, thing for you, that you can go to college. Now, yes, no one deserves to go to college. There's plenty of people who are fantastic and brilliant who just don't have the money or the means to go to college. But yeah, that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about the guy who like took his parents' money and wasted his college because he didn't show up to classes. No. He was like, no, I don't accept the bar that you're setting, so I'll set my own and I'll make my own. That's an incredible amount of independence and choice making by this gentleman or woman. I don't know who it is. Regardless, that's awesome. But it's kind of contrast by the fact, well, we might read more, but it doesn't seem like there's too much more here, but let me finish. I just finished my first year. Well, my family got together on the 4th, and, well, sometimes they're nosy. They were talking about my cousin's school, and my uncle looked at my dad and said, well, how much is blank my name school costing you? Then I, the son, jumped in and said, what are you asking for, or him for? I'm the one paying for it. Okay, fair, just giving information. Later on, my dad was pissed off and said that I was out of line to say that, and I embarrassed him. I didn't do it to embarrass him, I was just being honest. He didn't even know how much tuition is, so he was the wrong person to ask. Okay, so here's the thing. There's two. One of the perceptions is, yes, you're totally in the right because, yes, you're just giving proper information. Also, the fact that everyone's going around thinking that your dad's doing something that he's not is disingenuous and that he is benefiting socially from this lie. The other thing, though, and this is the kind of like the strongman argument for your parents, is the fact that they provided you with an education up until college. They provided you a roof over your head, so the least you could give them this ability to save face. That doesn't sit well 100% with me, because it just seems like you're giving... That's not giving necessarily what your dad gave to you. Your dad potentially gave you love and support, but just not support in this way. So if your dad ever So maybe when your dad gets older, you could support him, because that was when, you weren't able to do that just yet. Or you could put him in a home and etc. and pay him back in the same way that he looked after you. You could look after him. But this is a separate kind of looking after. That is again, it's just the idea that he's benefiting and you're getting none of the you're actually doing more. You're working overtime and he's getting the praise. That's kind of the sense if you were just thinking about it this through a jobs means. But this one is a little bit more in the middle, because I do respect immensely the perception, which I think is held by a lot of people, which is like, at the end of the day, they're still your mom. At the end of the day, they're still your dad. And yes, some people have like so much trauma that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter that they're your dad. It doesn't matter that you're your mom. So I understand that there's the counter of that. But also, the thing that's amazing, like, I think all of the thing is that he should have, well, no, because he kind of did it. Yeah. My thing is that he should be proud, immensely proud, that he carved his own path. And he didn't depend on a bar that he was not willing to fulfill, doing it, living in anxiety and stress his whole youth. And instead just decided, no, I'm going to have my cake and eat it too, but I'm going to carve my own path, and it's going to take more time to recover from the said carving, but at least I'll be happy and content, and also be able to live my life, not the life that you want from me, which is interesting. But yeah, I don't think he's the asshole. I definitely think, it's just, honestly, I don't even know if the dad is a monster so much as it seems like a big thing with fathers. This is like, we had a great example of like a father with great boundaries looking after his kid, and we had another example of a dad that I'm assuming is still probably pretty fine, but has a temper and also probably wants his son to, because I think that's the sense what a lot of fathers deal with when they have a child, is you have this being that now all you want is for that being to be okay and not to make the same mistakes that you made. But most people, in the endeavor to look at one's own mistakes, will feel angry, ashamed, frustrated by somebody going down that path of the same mistakes, not knowing that maybe it was never your kid's destiny, plan, the way the person shines. It was never their plan or their destiny, their fate, their beautiful life to go down the path of your life, Maybe they were meant to do something different, more, whatever. Everyone has a special talent or an interesting thing that they could give to the world. And it doesn't have to be the same thing that your dad would like for you, And I think that's a big thing to do with people who have come from like harder backgrounds, where like they did fuck up, they did fail, they did have to work an abundantly hard. But if that was the case, it seems like it's a weird, like, a kinetic feedback where it's blown up in your dad's face, to where like if that was his desire, the actions don't necessarily give that, outside of the action of displaying control, which seems like it was a big one. Anyways, let me just quickly breeze by what people are saying, because I actually am interested in what's happening. Don't downvote assholes, people say. This is 1000% X. Props to OP to detach his dad's toxicity and being on his own man. Now his pops has nothing to hold over him, and he can't tell him to kick dirt when he does something toxic again, such as being mad about telling his uncle. So this is the thing where, like, I agree with the sense that, what do you call it, a person should strive to be self-sufficient to some extent. I think there's a negative to being self-sufficient too early, like when you're 16 and you're out living by yourself. I think you didn't get a chance to like develop as a person. You just became an adult, and the kid in you never got to really flourish or find himself. So he kind of just ends up being like a kind of a half man, if that makes any sense. But again, we don't know if the dad was like, I just wanted the best life for my son, and I don't know how to express myself because most men aren't taught. So I just got mad and annoyed and frustrated with him and screamed at him because I just, if you telling people you pay for your own school embarrasses him, maybe he should take a look at himself. That's a good point where, like, again, if you didn't want the action to happen, then you should have told your family the fact that you're like, yeah, and you could have said it in a fair way of like, he didn't abide by my rules, so I didn't pay for him. That's my feelings as a dad. That's how I chose to operate. If you want to judge me, then you judge me. But maybe he'll work harder this way and become his own self-sufficient person, and it'll work out. But instead he hid it, which makes it like, well, no, you're clearly ashamed of this, but yet you had the opportunity to potentially change it. Also, I don't like the idea of like, if someone has a college fund for their kid, I think it just should be their college fund for their kid. Like the idea that like, it almost seems weird that like you're incentivized if you do have a requirement to make the requirement higher so that that car that you want in your life, so that that house or that vacation you want can be used in that way because your kid's starting to fall off. So of course, you could do. So it just makes it feel like a bad deal. Makes it feel like you're leveraging a bad deal. Yeah, again, this is the biggest thing where like a lot of people seemingly have come from backgrounds where they're who felt like they were treated like a prisoner or like and people were overly controlling, and then they controlled them worse through emotional trauma. Or emotional distress, which again is the importance of giving boundaries and also being fair. And communicating like, again, I think if the dad came to his son and be like, the reason why I have these requirements is not because I want you to not be able to achieve them. It's because I made those same mistakes, and I don't want you to become the person that or make the same mistakes I did. So the reason why I want to know the classes you're taking is so that I can talk to you about why those classes may not be good, because I had to go through a bunch of shitty classes and a bunch of debt, and it just is a bad idea. But again, some things in the guy's story doesn't really compute that. Like, again, the fact that he is ashamed of the fact that he clearly didn't pay for the kids thing or didn't get the glory of that is like, well, you didn't deserve or earn the glory. Then again, it's your dad, he took care of you, he fed you. So I kind of, there's a whole mess of like, again, it's, to me, I'm a person that I feel like really weirded out by like the parental argument, because it's like, one, I've had immensely lovely parents. Second, your dad, your mom, you know what I mean? And I know when I say that, there's some people in the audience that are like, yeah, Grin, that doesn't matter. It doesn't mean shit. You can have a monster of a mom. You can have a monster of a dad. Like it's the thing, the way people treat you and the way people take care of you and the way people embrace you and help you. That is what matters. And I would agree. But it just turns out that I think a lot of times, even chemically, parents are leveraged to feel that way. Not everyone, but you like to think at least, or I'd like to think at least. But anyways, I like to know what you guys think about this one. I feel like the one with the makeup one, the dad with the daughter, no, there's no like, definitely okay. This one, I think I agree with the sentiment of not the asshole. This guy's, the kid is being self-sufficient, and if his dad didn't like that, then he should have expressed himself better or done things differently. But if this is a consequence of his actions, then it's a consequence of his actions. May not be what people like or what he would agree with, but I feel like this is fair. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. We might come back to this, actually. This was a fun... I was worried about how I would, like, talk... My dyslexia. I was worried about how I was going to read everything. But I was able to kind of, like, read everything and, condense it to some extent, even though the video is 20 minutes because we had 2. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. I hope you guys do enjoy the rest of your day. Again, let me know what you guys think about this. The one I'm really curious about is the college tuition one. Because I agree with you, but at the point I can see, like, it's the fucking parent argument where, like, it's like, I brought you into this world, and yes, there's a limit to that for sure, but this one, it's like, you put a roof over his head, but then it falls apart when he's annoyed by the like, acknowledgement of his choice, Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Hope you guys do enjoy the rest of your day, and get back.